We got more news from the Halo series, the showrunners, and the actors involved. Found in a comics interview, Halo star Pablo Schauber attempts to reassure fans skeptical of Paramount Plus' series, saying it's a new experience in a world that you love so much. And we're just going to jump right into it. Pablo Schreiber, the man behind the Master Chief, man behind the helmet, which should never come off, in Paramount Plus' live action of Halo, has attempted to reassure fans skeptical towards the adaptation's take on the Bungie-created series. Speaking with Cinema Blend following Halo's world premiere at the South by Southwest 2002 Film Festival, Schreiber was asked by site manager, editor Sean O'Connell if he had anything to say to those doubtful that the series would be anything but typical Hollywood video game adaptation fare. The orange is the new Black Star asserted, "My big message to fans would be, it's okay, relax, we got you." All right, again, I said in my review of the first episode, I think the costumes look fun. The timeline of the different Spartan designs is kind of funky, but Chief looks good. And he also continued, "This is a new experience in a world that you love so much and have loved for so long. It's an opportunity to put down the controller, and instead of being co-owner or creator of this experience, you get to sit back on the couch and watch the experience unfold." Now, I'll give Pablo Schreiber one thing. At least he's not doing what a lot of modern actors do, and they attack the fans. You see a lot of, modern Hollywood people attack the fans, calling them ists and phobes and all that. At least he's not doing that. At least he's trying to say, hey, it's okay. We got you. Well, we're going to do our best. I can appreciate him not going after the fans. Check mark. As far as I know, I haven't seen anything contrary to that. Unfortunately for both Schreiber and Halo, this reassurance not only rings hollow in the face of how the productions need to signal its differences from the source material, usually spells an almost certain bastardization of the character and the lore the fans have come to love, but also the numerous faith-eroding statements made by those attached to the series prior to its March 24th debut. Following the widely rejected announcement that Chief would regularly appear in the series without his helmet, fan excitement began to waver even further when the interview with Den of Geek, 343 Industries head of Halo Transmedia and a Halo TV series executive producer Kiki Wolfkill, revealed the decision to set the series in the new Silver timeline, which I've said it before, saying this is non-canon, different timeline. It's a written cop-out to write your own crap story and not have to take any of the blame. You can just tell the fans it's not canon. What's the big deal? The big deal is that you're using already known characters, vehicles, locations, names, lore that you're just cherry picking to make. That's the issue. And just saying it's in a new timeline. Don't worry about it. Silver timeline, named after Master Chief's squad of Spartans in this show, similar to the concept of the J.J. Abrams Star Trek film series, the Kelvin timeline, was made in order to allow the production team the opportunity to make changes to the franchise's original continuity and lore, like I said. From the very beginning, it was clear that in order to let the story evolve and grow the way it needed to, in order to really go deeply into these character arcs, we would need to make some changes, explained Wolfkill. She continued, sometimes it was even just a perspective change. Sometimes it was something you didn't get a view on into the game or even the books. We knew we needed to let the story breathe on its own. At the end of the day, it all comes down to being able to make a moment-to-moment decisions. She elaborated, every day there was more decisions to be made. Do we do something exactly as it was done in the game? Are there good reasons to do it differently? And if so, how do we keep it true to the spirit of Halo, but at the same time keep the voice of all the incredible creators coming through? So I'll give that to them. It's kind of a double-edged sword. It's kind of, and right here, Stephen Kane further signaled a deviation from the fan base's source material, elaborating the Silver Timeline's approach. You don't want to just tell a game, or just tell the game in television format. You want to have a conversation with the material. Again, I'll give you credit where credit is due. I think a lot of fans never really wanted something just directly the game adapted to live animation or live action, but we wanted something within continuity and existing lore, and something that made sense to the overarching franchise. The game's been around so long, the canon's very deep and wide. There are opportunities to dig into canon and find characters that were only hinted at. The story's only half mission to dig and invent new stuff. Again, cherry pick, and they got new characters. Quan Ha, she's going to be the human perspective on everything. So another issue, and what may have been the nail in the coffin for the series' appreciation among fans, an interview with Variety, Kane proudly boasted to Variety that he and the other members of the Halo writers' room, we didn't even look at the game. I made a video on that. I thought that almost made Halo dead on arrival. I thought that was that was a dark, dark omen moving into this show. We didn't talk about the game. We talked a lot about the characters in the world. So I never felt limited by it being a game. You should. There is a very huge fan base that loves these games very much. Recalling that he wrote upward of 265 drafts of the series' first 9 episodes, 9 of 10, Kane shared his excitement at the chance to put his own stamp on the Bungie-created universe. There are characters that I mentioned in a book I was able to give a whole backstory to. Blah, blah, blah. He just continues on. They cherry-pick the lore, and they're telling their own woke-ass crap story. Not even going to go into the woke stuff. I'm trying to stay away from that until I see where it all goes. But there is a lot of woke crap in the first episode. Schreiber himself also ran defense for Halo, the name of the article. This is about Pablo Schauber speaking out. Speaking with /film reporter Ryan Scott on the topic following the series' world premiere at the festival on the 15th, Schreiber explained, always knew that the helmet off was going to be a big part of the show because just quite frankly, it's the only way to tell this story in long-form television format. Yeah, okay, but we never seen Chief's face before. Halo 1 came out in 2001, I want to say, and 3 came out in 2007. So that's 6 years of a really loyal fan base that never had to see his face. Now, he's trying to run defense for the show. That's kind of his job as the lead actor. And again, I'll give him credit for, he's not going after the fans. He's not making attacking the fans, calling them, telling they don't get it. They don't understand. He continued, said the game was made as a first-person shooter where you're meant to believe in what you believe that you're the Master Chief. I don't really see it that way, but sure, why not? I think it's not that you're the Master Chief. It's just you're playing the Master Chief in the Master Chief story. You're just controlling him, but you are not Master Chief. He is a character. You're just controlling that character in the action scenes. So the character was kept vague for that reason. I don't know about vague, but you infuse with the character with your own personality, your own subtleties. This is a TV show being made for long-term success. In order to do that, you have to bring the audience along with you. Again, Halo was a really successful series before this show. And really, the only way of doing that is see in the face, disagree, knowing how the character's feeling about things. Again, you can do that through good dialogue. You can convey a lot of emotion, a la the games, through dialogue and subtle hints. They say 70% of communication's nonverbal. They say you need to see people's face to do that. Well, guess what? With this character, it's got to be verbal. Write good dialogue, write engaging scripts, and you don't need to take off the helmet. Honestly, I think that's a lot of people's main issue is they taking the helmet off opened their eyes to the rest of the issues with the show. That's how you empathize with them. That's how you go along with them on the journey. I disagree, but again, hey, thanks for not attacking the fans, Pablo. So it was always a necessary thing, and it was a necessary thing to do early to get the audience comfortable with going on this journey. Also, because the character has been kept vague for so long. I don't think so. I mean, we have a lot of exploration into Chief as a person, as a man, as a soldier. We know who Master Chief is. Maybe we don't know his whole backstory, his whole childhood. We know what happened to him as a child when Dr. Halsey stole all those damn kids for the Spartan 2 program. But we know who he is. This man has morals, he has values, he has character. Further, he elaborated the process of this first season is really the process of John learning who he is as a human being. So who is the Master Chief? It's kind of a big question that we're going to fill in the first season. It's though the process of him learning about himself, and therefore we as audience members will all learn along with him. But that is the issue, that this was an existing franchise with lore and characters already built up. You cannot just change the timeline and say, oh, look, Silver timeline, we're just ignoring all that stuff, but we're keeping the names and the characters, but we're just ignoring all the stuff that's already been built up. That's lazy. That's lazy and boring. However, since Schreiber spoke with O'Connell, Halo has premiered its first episode to general audiences, and according to critics and fans, including Bounding in the Comics' own Jacob Smith, even the alternate timeline has done little to save the series from the regular trappings of modern Hollywood. Very good. Exactly. And it's like I've been saying this whole time. They are using the name brand of Halo to tell their own modern Hollywood story. And if this was a good story, I wanted to eat crow on this show so fucking bad. I wanted to be completely wrong about all of this, but I don't think I am. And I don't think it's going to get better. I don't think this is going to get much better at all. It's been renewed for a season 2, so hey, we got another year of this crap at least. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you later.